Tokyo is so full of things to do, it's hard to justify spending more than one day at DisneySea. But there are so many great things to do in DisneySea, it's easy to see why you might need to. You won't be able to do everything in one day, and everyone will have their own preferences during their stay, but if you take some tips from this guide, you will certainly be helped along your way. This is Suitcase Monkey on how to get the most from DisneySea in just one day. So the first big question you should ask yourself is, should I ride Toy Story Mania? This is by far the busiest ride in the park, and queues regularly get close to the 2-hour mark. For those that don't know, it's a 4D ride where you are shooting targets on a screen for points. It's a lot of fun, but it is exactly the same ride as can be found in Orlando and California. So if you've experienced this ride already and you would rather focus on things that you can only do in DisneySea, there is an argument to skip it, saving yourself a good 2 hours in the process. However, since it is such good fun, this brings me to my next tip. Using FastPass with Toy Story Mania. Now, lots of online guides advise that you dash towards Woody as soon as the park gates open, and this is what almost everyone seems to do. This can be troublesome, however, and here's why. In the distance here is where the queue for FastPass begins, and it runs all the way into the distance here. You are looking at least 30 minutes plus of queuing for FastPass, which seems pretty crazy. We found it best to enjoy other parts of the park first and then come back to collect your FastPass once the initial rush of hardcores has died down. The knock-on effect is that because most people are queuing for Toy Story, we were able to pretty much walk on 4 different rides and catch a show before we even collected our FastPasses around 11 AM. This gave us the last allocated time slot of 9:20 to 10 PM for a return, but required no waiting whatsoever. I'd be curious to hear of other people's experiences with this in the comments below, since it is a bit of a gamble depending on how busy a day you happen to visit and how quickly those fast passes run out. Number 3. Be a single rider. Being a single rider in DisneySea is a beautiful thing, and here's why. This is the Raging Spirits line on the right, which was signposted to be 40 minutes long, with the single riders on the left. For some reason, the single rider queue isn't signposted anywhere, it only says FastPass, which means that few people seem to know about it. It took me 5 minutes to board, meaning I could ride Raging Spirits 5 times for the time it takes for the main queue to ride it once. Even if you are in a couple or even a small group, I still think the benefits weigh up. It's hardly like you have a conversation once you sit down, so just ask a cast member at the FastPass entrance for Raging Spirits and Indiana Jones and you will save an hour or two immediately. Next, a spot of preparation. This involves a few things. First, if you can be flexible on the day you visit, obviously avoid the weekends and any special holiday dates, and particularly when Disney release new merchandise, as the locals literally freak out and surge to the park in their thousands. I've linked below to a helpful website I found that seems to give a fairly good indication of visitors for each future day. Also, where possible, book your tickets in advance. Through Disney's website, you can purchase and print an e-ticket at home, which means no queuing to collect on arrival. Do check their site for details, as there are quite a number of restrictions attached to doing this, but it does save time on the day. And what may seem like a terrible idea when you set your alarm, arrive at the park 1 hour before it is due to open. Most days, this means getting there for 7 or 7:30 AM, which, if you're staying in central Tokyo, means an early wake up and is how Shibuya Crossing can look like this. Obviously, staying at a Disney hotel helps with the commute, but you only get 15 minutes of hotel guests only before the gates are fully opened, not the usual 1 hour like in other resorts. Either way, this would allow time to get to Toy Story Mania before queues even start to form. Number 5. Enjoy the shows. On a whole, DisneySea is aimed at a more adult audience, and nowhere is this more clear than with its selection of live performances. You aren't allowed to film at the indoor events, so these shots were taken from the Easter shows, parades, and Fantasmic at night. The main 3 indoor shows I would recommend in this order are Big Band Beat, Out of Shadowland, and King Triton's Concert, all of which I've linked to below. All shows run throughout the day, but there is one trick you can try with Big Band Beat to reduce wait times. There is actually a lottery held for some of the performances, and this can be entered at the Biglietteria. Here, you scan your tickets on one of these machines and wait to see if you are allocated a seat. Again, I'd welcome any comments of experiences people have had with this system, as we were unfortunate on this occasion. To be fair though, we joined the queue for the first showing and waited only 15 minutes and still got pretty good seats. This is partly because on the first showing, nothing is reserved by the lottery, so available capacity is higher than later in the day. General ride information. Although the Tower of Terror is essentially the same unpredictable rise and fall experience, all of the theming is completely unique to DisneySea and is well worth a look. Centre of the Earth is worth either an early morning visit when it's quiet or with a FASTPASS. Take note that once you collect a FASTPASS, you will have to wait 2 hours until you can collect the next one, so keep that in mind when planning. 20,000 Leagues is a different take to those who've experienced it in the States, and if the line is less than 15 minutes, it's well worth a visit. There are alcoholic drinks served around the park, which is fairly special for Disney. We enjoyed some relaxing time in Magellan's Lounge, which stands in front of the mysterious island. The gondolas are a great experience and allow for views you can't get elsewhere in the park, especially at sunset. There is no FASTPASS for this and queues can get long, so keep an eye on wait times and visit accordingly. Sinbad's Storybook Voyage was one of our favourite rides, being a cross between Small World and Pirates of the Caribbean. Lasting 11 minutes, it's the longest ride in the park and almost never has a wait time longer than 5 minutes, making it a must-do. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe for more, and let us know any comments and experiences you've had below. If you are visiting Japan, then please check out our many other Japan videos, along with lots of Disneyland Paris guides, Rome, Kenya, and more.